So I want to start off by apologizing for not being as active with the videos. But after the snowstorm, we had a lot of repairs and had to deal with a lot of maintenance issues with homeowners that we had finished in the past. But now we're back to doing interesting stuff. So at our house in Allendale, we're doing sheetrock now, and we did a bit of landscape over the time, but finally got past the inspections and putting up sheetrock. Now hopefully the house flows quicker. Our house in Tarrytown, we're pouring the slab today, but before we poured the slab, we had already poured trenches that were 5 feet deep, and right now the trenches are about 4 feet deep. The exterior ones and the interior ones are about 2 feet deep, and it's a post tension slab, so you're going to see a lot of cables throughout the slab and not rebar. And I'll show you how that works once I get out there. And so the rebar is just steel that has grooves in it, and it catches onto the concrete really well and helps it from retracting and expanding, so your slab doesn't crack. And cables does the same thing, just in a different way, and I'll show you that when we go over there with the guys. So in total, we're going to be pouring 130 yards, which is equivalent to about 13-14 trucks. Each truck should hold around 10 yards, but it all depends on how old and how much concrete it already has stuck to it, but it's around 9 to 10 yards per truck. So this is a truck. What's cool about this is that you actually control the water that goes into the concrete. So if you want it dry or if you want it real wet, this is the pump. The concrete goes into the pump and it goes through a big hose or tube, and it pumps it all the way to the slab, and I'll show you that as well. Big tube all the way down to the slab, and they've gotten pretty far. They poured most of the beams already and now doing their finish on top. So that guy is pushing concrete where they need concrete. That way the straight edge can just level it out and take off the excess as it goes. So now he's taking off the forms because he's going to fill this area up with concrete. But that is a different height than this is. So they had to fill these up first before they did anything. So these are the cables. On one side they get screwed in to the forms and they stay stable. And this side, you see how that's the pure cable? This is the outer covering. That way when they pull the cables for it to get tension, this stays where it is, but the cable moves inside of it. And they do it all to one side in one direction, and the other direction goes to all one side too. So when they pull these, they pull them within 3 days of the slab being poured, or at the 3-day mark. They let it rest for 10 days, and then they come back and give it 3,000 psi of pressure, so it all joins together. And at the 3-day mark, they make a mark. That way they see how much they pull on the 10-day. And that'll keep the slab pretty strong. So the sheetrock process goes, they do the ceilings first, and then they do the walls where it meets the ceiling, and then they just go down. That way they get the cut at the bottom, and they can wiggle room that. It's just harder, it's easier to meet the full sheet with the ceiling and have the cuts at the bottom. And this is the progress outside with the landscaping. Have cedar fence all around the back. You might be able to take a peek at it. But we got some progress, and we're just gonna wait for the grass because we still have a long ways to go.